two, one. This is the Judge 08, also known as Jeremy the Judge Guillory, and we got Mr. Bobby Knows.
Bobby Knows, man.
Yes, so today we are going to be talking about times wrestling has gotten real. So, Mr. Bobby, what is the first thing?
Man.
So, what is the first thing that they teach you in wrestling school, other than taking bumps in the ring?
Well, headlock, protect your opponent,
Yeah.
And then they let you know there could be a shoot, like a fight might break out.
Yeah.
You gotta protect yourself. But wrestling's always real, man.
Yeah. So
it gets real. Have I ever had it get real? Yeah, I had it get real one time. I had a guy. He wanted to show off in the back to the guys or whatever, and I guess when I did a clothesline, I actually hit him pretty hard on top of the head with my elbow.
Yeah.
So he acted like he was like attacking me or something. Well, what was so stupid about it? I'm a pro wrestler. What are you gonna do? Hit me? I'm literally getting hit. I just kept playing for the show. Made him look dumb. I just kept playing along. I did like a low blow, and he started selling again. I didn't sell the fact that he was trying to act like he was fighting me or something. Yeah. I just kept, because I could have whooped him easily, dude. Yeah. He was younger, dude. Yeah. He's a younger cat, and I just kind of looked at him like he was dumb. Yeah. I've had another wrestler sock me in the face, and boy, I was getting up, dude, to get him, and he knew I was pissed, so he played along like it was a battle royale and threw me out of the ring, which it was a battle royale. So I've been hit legit in the face. And when I hit the ground, dude, I was like, this mother guy wants some. I was getting back up to, go at it. But at the same time, your adrenaline's pumping. You don't really feel any kind of bumps or hits. You really don't. I don't.
Yeah.
And till like 2 days later. And the show is so powerful, the adrenaline, you don't really, it just goes like, I don't know how to explain it. You just let it slide right off your shoulder and you go right back to the match. To me, some people probably don't agree, but to me, pro wrestling is just as good as sex. When you're in a match, the magic and the adrenaline rush, dude, that's all you're thinking about. You don't get pissed off till after the match, or, if I've never got mad during a match, except I had a guy hit me pretty hard in the sternum.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, hey, man, take it easy, brother. Take it easy, man. Take it easy,
So
that's about it that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, so there are some terms that I know of that lets wrestlers know when it's real, like receipt, shoot.
Shoot.
Yeah.
I know shoot.
Yeah. There's the big X that the referees throw up whenever there's a legit injury going on. Can you think of any other terms or rib? Can you think of any other terms that that are normally used?
Street fight, street fight, non-sanctioned match.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I may not look like the toughest guy in the world, and this is not a shoot or made-up story. I've been in a lot of bar fights in my life before I got in pro wrestling. I've been in fights with my boss at work, multiple jobs, not just one job. And I wasn't up there starting trouble, but I guess my personality is kind of annoying, and I'm always a target. And I grew up with four brothers, and I didn't have no sisters. And me and my brothers and my dad and mom, we argued and fought so much that making up was easy. Like, we'd get into it, and 30 minutes later, we was all getting along. And we seemed weird to other families that came around us, who normally would hold a grudge for like a month or two. But we would just always make up like that, and I got in fights at school. And I'm not proud of any of the non-Christian things I've done in my life. I found Jesus, but I've been in a lot of fights before pro wrestling. And it's just another day, man. It's one of the reasons why I love wrestling, because you get an adrenaline rush. I used to get an adrenaline rush off kicking somebody's. I'm serious. I really did. I'm not a UFC fighter. I'm not Brock. I'm not trying to act like a legit badass. I'm just telling you that I'm only 40. Well, I should have said that. And I've been in a lot of fights, man, and I don't know why. Because I'm not a violent person in real life. I don't want to hurt nobody. I'm a Christian. I've been in a lot of fights, man. And that ain't made up. That's no bull crap. I'm an experienced fighter. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time where someone tried to make you break character, whether doing a comedy act or anything like that, in the ring?
No, I got mad at a guy one time because he wanted to wrestle a wrestler that people have a lot of heat with. And I was new in the business. I didn't know who had heat and who didn't. And he was telling me he wants to wrestle that guy. But then when the story got out, he did a 360 on me like a Judas. It was on Facebook saying stuff. And I didn't know he was going to put my messages on Facebook, but I went off on him. I said, dude, you're not a friend. You're a effing. I said a bunch of bad stuff to him. If he would have waited about 30 minutes, I would have got over it and not made a big deal about it. But he just made me so mad when he did like a 360 like that out of the blue, trying to sabotage me. But it's in the past. But I noticed down south, like Oklahoma, Texas, probably Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana. If you start running your mouth, you're going to get sucked out. A fight's going to break out. But when you live up north, people talk shit all the time. So, and they don't always go to blows. So it's like, it's a constant. Where down south, you cross the red line, you're going to get into it with somebody. But up north, man, it's constant. So if you wrestle up north and you're down and you're from the south and you go up around these people that are, crap, they talk a lot, and you're thinking, man, are they joking? Do they want to get into it with me? That's kind of what I mean by a shoot, or you just got to adapt to the situation and remember to be humble in the locker room and just ask yourself if it's worth it, because it's not, especially in 2026. Like 20 years ago, getting in a fight didn't get you 5 or 10 years in prison. Nowadays, a fight can get you a year in the jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different world we live in nowadays. You can't do stuff like that no more.
Definitely.
So you got to adapt to the situation.
Yeah. So some promos may be, hate to use the word scripted on this, but y'all talk it out behind the scenes sometimes. But has there ever been a time where someone has said, "Hey, don't mention this in the ring" or something, and they mention it anyway, as a low blow, like something about your wife or your kids or something that really offended you or anything like that, just get the crowd riled up?
No, I don't remember. Nothing like that. There was a time where I was told to talk trash to the commentators.
Yeah.
And one of the commentators, like always, kind of like, bragged about me when I'd come out to the ring. And I noticed when I'm doing a promo, I'm not being serious. I started talking crap to the commentators, and he like legit never talked to me again after that. Like seriously, like they like did a 3. He like got weird about it. It's like, dude, it's wrestling. It's nothing personal,
Yeah.
But I've had guys legit try to get me and get into it with me, so I'd quit going to the school because they didn't want me there because of my gimmick or because of my personality. Yeah. I've met guys that thought they were really tough, and I guess they could see I wasn't impressed by them, and that made guys not like me because I do that a lot. If I do think you're tough, I'm probably going to try to get into it with you on purpose. I was like that when I was a punk. But I hate it when they're, you know, real hard and they're really not. They just, nobody will stand up to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's just me talking. And I was an older guy when I debuted in my 30s already. A lot of these guys were 18 and 19, and I was like, man, I was that age at one time. I get it, but they don't get it because they haven't been there yet. You know, maybe some of them are legit tough guys. I could take an ass whooping. You know what I mean? Let's get off me and back to the you know, wrestling stuff.
So there have been some legit moments that have happened in the ring. Some examples would be Owen Hart used to be a prankster. There was Triple H, Shawn Michaels incidents backstage, I believe. JBL.
There's a couple of, there's a couple I know that I don't like to mention, but go ahead.
Yeah. JBL was very infamous backstage with a few incidents that I've actually talked to him about when I met him. And I just described it as him being a heel, doing heel things. Because when you're a heel and you want to expand the heel persona more, you gotta be almost a heel, almost like 24/7, almost, so that no one knows that you are actually a good guy. And he said that even when you're a heel, you have to make sure that you don't offend them too much with certain things. And even when he does something really bad behind the stage, he would go on and make sure that he did not offend them too much. And one of the examples was the NXT incident where he was on commentary and his partner had bought out the company, and everyone just immediately pointed to him. And the next day, management came up to him and said, "Did you do anything to this guy?" And he was like, No, I didn't. And he literally called him up and said, "Hey, do you have any issues with me or anything?" He's like, No, it's just an anxiety attack. Things like that. He's also gone on to his own podcast to clear the airwaves on that as well. And he just told me the exact same thing that he said on there with that incident. There was another incident in, I believe, Brazil that he said that that happened where he came out with the Brazil flag and he stomped on it. I honestly thought it was Chris Jericho that did it, but it turns out it was him. And everyone was really pissed off about it, that he literally had to come out there out of character and apologize for it. So I believe that when wrestling gets real, it really goes beyond just two wrestlers going at it and things. It's also when things get real heated between a wrestler and the crowd as well.
Well, there's a list of incidents I'd like to mention that are legendary. One of them I'd like to mention is I can't say his name. I know who it is. He slapped the reporter.
David Schultz.
The guy that asked wrestling was fake and he slapped the reporter. What's his name?
David Schultz.
Yes. That's a classic time wrestling got real.
Yes.
That's an awesome. I got a lot of hits on that video. Yes. I love that. That made wrestling cool. That guy was legit.
Yes.
He was being serious too. That wasn't a work. The other ones I like to mention, Hogan mentioned he got his leg broke when he first went to training by the trainer. Yeah. Stuff like that. Real. Yeah. They broke his leg on the day, and that happens in school a lot. You know,
Yeah.
people. One thing that'll make a pro wrestler mad is when you walk in there thinking the joke and it's fake. Oh, they're gonna mess you up, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna mess you up in there.
Yeah.
Another time, I always heard Andre didn't like Randy Savage. I've seen A&E shows about that where Andre would slap Macho Man just brutal to him in the ring. Maybe Andre had a crush on Elizabeth,
Yeah.
or maybe Savage was annoying. I honestly think it was because Andre is a big guy and Macho Man's not that tall. So Savage had to do extra. You know, back in those days when you were a smaller guy, you did extra moves to make up for your size. So your matches were a little better, like Savage and Steamboat. Whereas Andre didn't have to do a whole lot in his matches to make the match entertaining. You kind of see what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened there. And there's another time, Bruiser Brody. I'm sure you heard where he was in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
He wouldn't put the guy over. They brought him back to the restroom, and the guy stabbed him or shot him, but he got killed back there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That's another time or incident that we would need to mention is the Bruiser Brody incident. Sadly, he pissed off one of the wrestlers that he worked with, and he went to shower in the bathroom in the showers, and the guy came up with a knife and started stabbing him to death.
and the guy didn't go to jail.
Sadly, he didn't.
Not for a while, anyway.
No, I mean he should have, but Puerto Rico is wild for that. I mean,
There's some others, man. I got to mention off the top of my head, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. He got in trouble with Marty Jannetty. He got blamed for something at a party, and he supposedly beat the living hell out of Marty Jannetty.
yes.
I just heard about this the other day, and it was bad from what I understand.
Yeah. Supposedly, Scott Hall also murdered someone in a bar once.
Whoa! He didn't murder them. He was just there, and they overdosed. They probably don't want us talking about this part, man. You're gonna make it where I never get booked anywhere. No, I'm just. Yeah, Scott Hall was there when somebody overdosed, and there was a murder conspiracy. It's part of a hush-up business. They don't like talking about stuff like that, but I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention is Ravishing Rick Rude does a play, man, and the Ultimate Warrior got a little cocky there. And Rick Rude beat the trash out of him, which made it where Hulk Hogan and a lot of wrestlers would never wrestle Rick Rude again because Rick Rude, which is I understand Rick Rude because I can understand that, but when you're in a business, when there's millions of dollars on the line, people like Hulk Hogan ain't gonna want to work anymore, and he beat Warrior up, so it cost him a Mania match with Hogan. What I understand.
Yeah. The hardest times that wrestling probably got as real as it can be would be the injuries and in-ring deaths. Now we've seen deaths happen
Owen Hart
throughout. Yes, Owen Hart is the biggest one, where he was supposed to come from the scaffolds all the way down, and the thing triggered, the harness triggered before it was supposed to. We also talked about, me and Matt also talked about that in the Owen Hart episode of the broken turnbuckle.
We gotta
so
not to take away from Owen Hart because that needs to be talked about. That was one of the most known when wrestling got real deals. But what about Sid Vicious and Arn Anderson, man? 32 knife stabs. Yes. Sid stabbed Arn Anderson 32 times. They tried to kill each other, which made Sid jump to WWE, if I'm not mistaken.
There was also a time where Sid Vicious had done a big boot off the top rope and
broke his leg. That's a time to get real there. Yes.
So have you ever been
Nash and Roddy? Go ahead.
Yeah. So have you ever been in a match where you or your opponent got injured and you have to end it like almost immediately because of the injury?
No, but I can tell you, I almost had my heart broke one time, but I moved it out of the way in time.
Yeah.
I could feel it. He was about to kick my arm. I had my arm twisted.
Yeah.
I happened to move it out of the way just in time.
Yes.
But
Other on-ring, in-ring incidents would be the Chris Jericho Neville incident, where Neville rolls up his ankle, ends up with a broken ankle. Jericho tries to end the match very quickly, but uh, Chad, not Chad Patterson, um, the referee counts 1, 2, and tries to rule it as a kick out, and Chris Jericho purposely tries to get himself disqualified. Um, and you can
yeah,
audibly hear him say, "He's injured," and get disqualified that way. Um, so
there,
th-
you know what,
this,
man? Before we finish, there's going to be so many get real incidents in wrestling that we're
yes,
probably going to have to do a number 2 and maybe a number 3 version of this.
yes,
I'm just being honest with you, because I can
yes,
think of lots of things where wrestling's got real.
yes,
Like one time I saw Austin and Triple H at No Way Out, 2001, and somebody in the crowd throws a beer,
yeah,
a full beer, and hits Austin right in the head.
yes.
And you can see it hit his head, and it hurt, man. And he rolled over and had to change. That's
Yeah.
like what I mean when wrestling gets real,
Yes, yes.
So
And some of those incidents, they just play it off like it gets ignored. Another example with
well,
Scott Hall.
you need to play it off, but there's just so many times where
Yeah.
characters been broken or things have gotten real.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to cover this in one video.
Yeah. Scott Hall having a drink thrown in his face.
Yep, I was just thinking of that.
Yeah.
He needed a bath, man.
Yeah.
My mom always said that.
Yeah.
My mom always said, I like to give that boy a bath because he was so greasy, with his hairstyle.
Let's go and wrap this episode or this segment up with talking about the in-ring deaths that have happened. There's a few times it happened. It's not as common, but it's equally as tragic.
I only know of 2 off the top of my head.
I can think of at least 4 or 5. There's the Great Khali.
Well, I know 3. I know 3 now.
Yeah.
One more just popped in my head.
Yeah.
So.
There's the Great Khali incident where he had flapjacked one of the indie wrestlers, and the guy went down too hard onto the mat and ruptured something. There's been times where a wrestler in the Samoan Dynasty, where they were married to one of the female sisters of Rikishi. He had a heart attack in the middle of the ring once and died. There was another wrestler who actually died in the ring in the middle of the match, and the guy they was wrestling had played it off like he just pinned him or got pinned by the guy while the guy was dead in the ring. 1, 2, 3, and they just found out that he died by like a rupture aorta or a heart attack or something.
I know Rey Mysterio Jr. had an incident where somebody died.
Yes,
he hit him, and that was a scary thing.
Very scary.
I seen that video.
It's on YouTube right now, and
I
mean, it just looks like a regular move, like the regular 619, and he just misses. But it just turns out that the rope was just tied in a little bit too tight, and it just hit him in the right spot. I'm just surprised that Psycho didn't get hit, didn't fall down the same way when he got kicked in that same match.
Like, there's so many incidents of. We should definitely do a hey when wrestling got real. You might even throw in every one of your shows, a little segment. Hey, today's the day we should name when wrestling gets real.
Yeah.
You can delete this part if you want to, but you see what I'm saying. There's just so many incidents, man.
Yes, La Parka was another big one too, in 2020. So yeah.
Hey, guys dying doing what they love, man, but
yes,
still bad news.
It's tragic. It's tragic. But yeah, we're definitely going to follow up on this. This is a follow up on another episode that we did, episode 5 of the Broken Turnbuckle podcast of the Forbidden Question.